This guy and his cookies.
さっさとそいつを片付けて次の野郎を出しな。
それはできないわね。
なんだと？
Eh?
そいつを引き上げるわけにはいかないのよ。まだ決着がついていないから。
決着が。
But he's out cold.
彼はまだ生きている。気絶しているだけ。
Okay, so she just checked in on him. Ah,
忘れ
okay.
たの？
Ah,
勝負は
yeah.
デスマッチ。
She's gonna hold them
一方
to
が負けを
it.
宣言するか死ぬかするまで戦うと決めたはずよ。彼はまだ生きているし、負けも宣言していない。
God damn it.
へりくつ抜かしやがって。
けど、あいつの言ってることは
Technically, yes, yes.
俺もそう思う。
あの死に損ないに引導を渡してこいよ。
断る。
Whoa, look at their eyes.
あの時、すでに戦意を失っていた相手を。
Yeah, I mean, he was about to give up before he.
ざけんなよ。じゃあ一体どうする気だ。向こうは決着がついてないって言ってきてるんだぞ。
彼に任せる。
は？
彼が目覚めれば、おのずと答えは出る
Oh,
はず。
おいおい。
that's an unknown though.
出るまでの時間は限られているんだぞ。
あんたが嫌なら、俺がやってやるよ。キルは人を殺したことないんでしょ？
Good question.
怖いの？殺しを怖い怖くないで考えたことはない。
Hmm.
これは1対1の勝負。手出し無用だ。なるほどね。でもさ、とにかく団体行動だ。
Oh,
わが
yeah.
ままは良く
Okay.
ないぜ。
たまにはいいこと言うじゃねえか。他人の迷惑も考えろよな。
See,
と
here.
どめを刺すなら丸、刺さないなら×を押す。せーの。
Tompa's loving it. Here comes that
なんでつかねえんだよ。
conundrum phase.
俺たちが勝手にやってるからじゃない？
よし。なら挙手で決めようぜ。とどめを刺す方に賛成の人。はーい。
No one?
さっきクラピカに一緒になって説教したじゃねえか。団体行動だろ、団体行動。
だって無意味じゃん。意見変えないって言ってるし。
おいこ
He's got a
い。
point.
もはなんで反対なんだよ。
確かにクラピカの言う通り、相手の人も俺の負けって言いかけたしさ。起きるまで待とうよ。
Yeah, but that's the unknown though.
わかんねえんだぞ。
強制はよくねえぜ。人それぞれの事情や信念があるからな。
おめえの意
He's not wrong.
聞いてねえ。
拗ねちゃった。
早く進まなきゃ意味ねえのに状況わかってんの
とりあえずほっとこう。
Tompa's loving this, isn't he?
バ
Yeah.
カが完全にはまってやがる。多数決のトリックに何度も連続して少数派に回り、自分の意見が抹殺され続けたら
They end up like Leorio in the corner.
不満、怒りが湧き上がってきて対立を招く。そしてチームの崩壊。
I don't think they'll get to that phase,
そもそも
but there's a bit of
俺たちは試験を
friction.
受けに来たライバル同士だ。半ば強制的に他人の意見に従わされ、窮地に追い込まれるなど、バカバカしくて我慢できない。
Oh, I love this.
もっともやってはならない挙手で決めようとしやがった。タイマーのボタンを押して決めるのと違い、
Yeah, you're
誰が
not
反対したの
anonymous.
か分かる上に自分が少数派になったら常に特定の人物と意見が対立し、一方だけが意思を抹殺されるようなことが続けば
Ooh.
集団は決裂。俺たちの場合、それは5人全員の失格を意味する。
Hey.
時間の問題だな。
Hold on, Tampa. Hold on. Hisoka. Ooh, okay. I was hoping for something like this. Yo. How cool. Oh, I love these angles they use.
そうか。
Oh.
今年は試験官ではなくリベンジャーとしてな。去年の試験以来貴様を殺すことだけを考えてきた。この傷の恨み、今日こそ晴らす。
Oh, is this the guy that he tried to kill? They
君
mentioned.
が試験官として能力が足りなかっただけのこと。それを逆恨みって言うんだよ。
Uh,
二刀流か。
sword blade style. Yeah. Ooh, great animation there.
そして死ね
Oh. Oh, how about that?
確かに避けるのは難しそう
Stop it in its tracks?
なら止めちゃえばいいんだよね
バカな俺は飛んでくる刀を受けられるようになるまで半年以上かかったんだぞ
なんだ思ったより簡単なんだ
Oh,
無駄な
yes.
努力ご苦労様
It's really twisting that dagger. The guy's hair. There is someone kind of similar looking in the silhouette of the Phantom Troop from the last episode. The Muscle Man, I believe. But this guy didn't really look all that big. But his hair is kind of similar. The look of it, at least. The outline.
44番ひそか3次試験通過第1号所要時間6時間17分
Okay. Oh, how cool. Oh, shit. 12 hours. Gone? You got something for us?
どうかしたのかゴン。
Did he see a move?
なるほどね。もしかしてあいつもう死んでるんじゃないの？
Ah.
なんだと
だってずいぶん時間経つのにあれきり全然動かないんだ
I mean, he is a medic after all.
はいそいつの生死を
Yes.
確認させてもらおうかお前の言葉だけじゃ信用できねえな
それじゃあかけましょうか。
かけ
It's almost as if she was hoping for this.
彼が生きているか死んでいるか。
They really like that shot, that camera
一
movement.
体何をかけるってんだ
時間よ。
Time. Precious time.
私とあな
Oh.
たの勝負は賭け、ギャンブル。時間をチップ代わりにね。
レルート
Lerut.
希少生物販売及び賭博法違反等で懲役110年
Ah, gambling laws, eh?
彼女らしい勝負方法だね
Sure does. Careful, Leorio.
たく
No wonder she lit up.
てめえに言われたくねえな元はといえばお前がとどめを刺さねえからいけねえんだろうが
わかった。ならばもう何も言わない。
もう仲間割れはよそうよ
Nakama. Ah.
その調子その調子
生きてる方に10時間なんだあいつ散々死んでるんじゃねえかとか言っておきながら
It's just 10. It gives him a bit of
それ
a.
じゃあいいわ。確認して。
It gives him a chance, doesn't it?
結構慎重だな。
何も喋らねえんじゃなかったのか
Hold on, hold on. Let him cook. Let him cook.
当然じ
Oh, I
ゃ
love this theme, man.
仮にこれで外れても奴の死さえ確認できればクラピカの勝利が確定する
All right, Mr. Medic. Go on.
よしまずはレオリオがリードしたね
まずいな。
え
あいつこのままずっと目覚めないかもしれないぜ。さっきあの女が倒れてるやつに近づいていっただろう。
Yeah.
それで
She did check in on him, right?
もう死んでたんじゃないかと思ったんだけど、考えてみれば死んでるよりも生きていて起きない方があいつらにしてみれば都合がいいんだ。
Run the clock.
こいつが本当に気絶してるかどうかかけようぜ
Ooh.
なるほど。
Did he pick up on?
おいどうすればいいんだこんなのメモになかったぜ
The note. Oh, she passed it on, didn't she?
気絶したふりを続けろこのメモは口の中に隠せと書いてあった
でも本当に気絶してるかどうかどうやって
I
確か
think
め
Leorio might know. That's why he's so.
何簡単さもってえな
Oh shit. Oh shit. He's
ここか
actually.
ら下へ落とす
なんじゃそりゃ
How far can you
本当
go?
に気絶してるならそのまますんなり落ちて死ぬはずだ
気は確かなの？
He wouldn't do this if he
まだ
wasn't
彼は前の
sure
勝負が
about
つい
this.
てないのよ。
もしこいつが落ちて死ねばこっち側の反則負けってことでトータルそっちの2勝だ それで文句ないだろ
Killua looked impressed.
なんだとふざけん
That
じゃ
voice.
ねえぜ俺
Iconic.
の命をなんだと思ってやがんだ
その代わり変更するわ。彼が本当に気絶していない方に
あ
40時間残り全部を確認
Okay, switch of plans.
メギツ
Let me have a look though, eh? How long can you keep going, my guy?
それじゃ話すぜ
うわー待て待て
He said it out loud as well that I'm about to let go.
離すなー落ちる
おはようさん
Ah, smooth, smooth.
勝負は俺の負けで結構だ御社なんかクソくらいだ刑務所の方がよっぽど安全だぜ
So that should be official now. Okay, so that would only make it
分かって
2-1.
たのね。あいつが起きてたこと。
これでも医者志望なんだ
Ah,
眼球運動
let's
と
go.
調べりゃわかるさ
Yeah, he's a medic at the end of the day.
これでそっちのチップは残り20時間。
だが勝負自体は2勝1敗でこっちがリーチだ
Okay, now it truly begins.
賭けの問題を出してもらおうか果たしてレルートが出す
Lerut,
次
that's the
の問
name.
題とは
Oh, great. Okay, so episode 10, I've got to say it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling, not too long ago, just the idea of beginning Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter, it just felt like such a, I don't know, impossible thing to me, given its length. That was essentially the major speed bump in all of this. But yeah, it just feels great. It does, and it's not just this anime, at the same time, I've got Monster going as well, so it's good times. It feels good. It feels good to put this content out there for you guys. And, as a content creator, it's an incredible feeling, to finally kind of execute your plans, your long-term plans, things that you might have thought years ago, but you just knew the timing is not right. So yeah, I'm just having a blast. I'm really happy about the direction of the channel at the moment, having a fun time here, folks. And I hope it's the same for you guys. A lot of you have been around for a long time, and a lot of you have been asking for some of this content for a long time as well, or hoping that one day I do get to some of this stuff. So yeah, I really hope you guys are having a blast as well. And of course, all the newcomers to the channel as well. Of course, I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying this as well. And that you are enjoying my take on this specific anime as well. And my approach to this type of content. So yeah, it's good times, good times. All of that being said, episode 10, unfortunately, maybe not the strongest episode, right? Certainly not as strong as the last episode. Takes a bit of a dip. But the thing is, even the last episode, to me, it felt like a really, really good episode, right? But it's possible that maybe others thought it was a bit of a mediocre episode. But I don't know. It's I guess some of these things are subjective. The thing is, I kind of created my own excitement because of some of the information I was given from that episode. So that just kind of heightens my enjoyment and my hype levels, So yeah, I don't know. Maybe others didn't think it was a great episode, but I did. I certainly thought it was a really great episode. This one took a bit of a dip, but all of that being said, there's a lot of things to like about this episode as well. I did like a lot of things in this episode. Hell, I even got a bit of Hisoka, right? And I wasn't really expecting it, but it just happened. It just kind of transitions in. And geez, my God, this guy, this examiner that he almost killed the year before, right? And it kind of comes full circle because Tanpa actually mentions this back in episode 3, right? His introduction episode. Now, up until recently, I guess I kind of misheard it, or misread it maybe, or maybe my subtitles are off, but apparently, he almost killed him. Of course, because he just showed up here. But that being said, by the end of this, he is dead. He is truly dead. He gets decapitated by an untouchable Hisoka. my goodness, this man is a monster out in the field. This guy, the examiner, who felt that he needed to, fight for pride to get back at Hisoka for the things he did to him last year. This dude spent, I think he said, half a year mastering these knives, right? Or blades, sorry. Or it took half a year to master catching these blades. Yet, you have Hisoka just immediately picking up on it. I mean, this man is built different. He is exceptional. He's perhaps gifted. And I'm speaking of Hisoka, that at a moment's notice in the field, under pressure, he was able to just pick up on that technique. Now, ultimately, Hisoka is quite a scary dude. He is. And, it's beginning to feel like that Hisoka might be capable of doing something that is going to put me in a position that might be quite tricky, right? He might do something down the line to perhaps people from this crew, right? Our crew, essentially. Or he might have a hand in doing something that might be devastating, right? Because he's capable of it. So I think it's interesting setup because I certainly really like this character. I do. And listen, seeing him just play with this examiner, mess around with him for a little bit. And how about that animation? Beautiful stuff. So fluid and dynamic. And once again, I get to see Hisoka do his thing. He's just phenomenal out there, right? And at times he was beginning to even feel like a bit of a dancer, and his theme really kind of plays into it as well, right? But yeah, he just took this man out with relative ease. And, he's meant to be an examiner. He's clearly quite experienced himself, but he just handled him and tossed him aside, decapitated him. But yeah, after my thoughts about him potentially being a member of the Phantom Troop in the last episode, this kind of almost immediately enhances that theory, doesn't it? This man is essentially functioning at a different level. But see, the thing is, if indeed he is from the Phantom Troop, this idea of him taking part in these exams, putting himself through this, I don't know, I threw out a few possibilities that maybe, he's here on their behalf, but, he doesn't seem, or he doesn't look like or sound like a yes man. He listen, my first impression of this man was that he's a maverick, that he's a lone wolf. So, the idea of him taking orders is already a bit of a foreign one, right? But again, I do think that's him in that silhouette shot. So if I do end up being on the right track and he is a part of the Phantom Troop, it's an interesting dynamic that he is a part of a group, that he is able to function in a group. Yet he also appears to be the opposite of that as well. Though, I say that he does have an associate as well. There is at least one other person out here. Now, again, it remains to be seen if he is part of the Phantom Troop as well, right? Because I didn't see that type of silhouette. And I'm speaking of the android-looking fellow, the pinhead, the guy who walks like a robot. But yeah, I love the Hisoka segment. Hisoka being his usual self, right? Charming, and just electric. The screen presence, the voice acting. Oh god, the voice acting. There is something really quite attractive about it. I mean, there really is this undeniable allure to his voice. I certainly think so. And I'm saying this as a hetero male. But yeah, the impressive Hisoka makes it out of there first. And it took him something like 6 hours to do it. And also on that note, I think I might have misread the clock. I thought maybe they have 12 hours left and they're 60 hours into it because, it's at 60. And my first thought is, okay, they've spent 60 hours in here and they've got 12 left. I think it's the opposite. They had 60 left because the clock is counting down. I had to double check. So yeah, I kind of goofed on that, but yeah, they've got 60 hours left, and yeah, it sets it up nicely for the next encounter. I mean, it's already kind of in motion, right? This examiner, the prisoner, really unique character as well, right? I didn't get a full reveal though, right? The poncho stayed on. Though I got a few glimpses of the face and the eyes, and of course I've heard the voice, another attractive voice. I mean, I feel like I'm going to be listening to a lot of attractive voices in this one, a lot of interesting voices and voice acting in this anime. But yeah, I've got to say, I really loved that Leorio got his spotlight moment, right? Yes, of course, the first half of it, he's really quite frustrated. He's really quite isolated. He felt that he's being zoned out, right? He's the odd man out. And yeah, as Tanpa kind of explained, these are the symptoms. This is the type of thing that can happen. And I kind of asked about this, or I brought up this possibility a few episodes ago, that it'll be interesting to see any conundrums, any disagreements in this group or within this group. I saw a bit of it already, of course, at the second gate, right, going left or right, but that was kind of almost inconsequential. This right here, the situation in this one, asking Kurapika to go back out there and finish off our Blue Hulk fellow, Majitani, right? Majitani, I believe. To go and finish him off, to kill him. But also, it is a little bit jarring, isn't it, to kind of listen to that. Leorio and Killua kind of just talking about killing and all that. I mean, Killua not so much, but Leorio is really dead set on getting through to the next round, right? And you see that he became really agitated. But also on Killua and Kurapika and Leorio, it was really nice. It was actually really nice to see him kind of open up and start interacting with those two. And here it was really cool because it didn't really feel like, oh, that's Gon's friend again, right? Because up until this point, it kind of really did feel like that. That's Gon's friend, and then Gon is friends with him, and he's also friends with these two. But now you have Killua kind of building a bit of a relationship, or maybe relationship isn't the right term here, maybe not yet at least. Or friendship, by relationship, I meant friendship, of course. Though, of course, a relationship doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. So I have to kind of correct myself there. But yeah, I really like that he's kind of talking to them now directly, and that they are now kind of beginning to build a rapport with each other as well, right? And, in a cast such as this one, fantastic characters, or fantastic character dynamics, different types of characters traveling together and being around each other. This is the type of thing that's really exciting, right? The different pairs and how they are, how Killua and Leorio might be together is of course going to be completely different from how Killua and Kurapika are going to be, how Kurapika and Gon are going to be, how Gon and Leorio are going to be, right? That's always such an exciting thing in a cast dynamic, right? And I got to see it here. And of course, a lot of that friction earlier in the episode comes out of that conundrum, right? Kurapika refuses to go out there to finish off Majitani. And of course, he holds strong on his morals. He's holding on to his ideals at that point. He simply did not want to engage any further because he thoroughly believed that his opponent is in a weakened state, and essentially that his spirit was broken, that he wasn't willing to fight anymore. And yeah, he was, you see it, you just see it at the conclusion of that fight. I guess it's not really even a fight. It's more of a beatdown, isn't it? Bit of a lesson from Kurapika in the last episode. He was just about ready to just give up, hang it up, as he does by the end of this episode, right? He's fed up. He's like, I'm done with this. Prison is so much safer than all of this nonsense. But yeah, it looked like he was ready to give up, but of course it didn't happen. And apparently Gon also picked up on this as well, right? Because he tells Leorio, because Leorio is asking him, give me your reasoning for, wanting to spare him or not wanting to kill him. And of course, he agrees with Kurapika that, yeah, he was about to give up. Though Kurapika himself didn't mention anything of the sort. But yeah, Gon picked up on it, the eagle-eyed Gon. And of course, it was because of him kind of studying Majitani's body that kind of led to the next move, right? It kind of pushed Leorio into the next phase of this. Essentially gave him that push because at that point he was kind of tapped out. They're all kind of just chilling, right? The time is just slipping by as they want, right? As that lady wants, essentially. And the thing is, beyond just us, the audience, Killua also takes an interest in Gon. I mean, of course, he's taken an interest in Gon as a friend, but like, he is also kind of keeping an eye out on Gon and his reactions to certain things, his mannerisms. Once again, he noticed that Gon is noticing something, that there might be something interesting going on in that head of his. So he approaches him and he asked him, right? So that's a really cool aspect of this friendship as well, this newfound friendship. But also, let's kind of go back to Kurapika and this notion of selfishness, the possibility of that, right? I kind of like that it starts going into that, right? Because you don't want perfect characters. You want some flaws. You want them to feel real. You want them to feel authentic. And to feel authentic, you've got to have flaws. You simply do, right? And there is a hint of that, a bit of that here. Perhaps a bit of stubbornness, a bit of selfishness, right? But again, it's not... It's an interesting scenario or situation, right? Because he's being asked to essentially go out there and finish the job and kill this person. But, he, again, simply does not feel that he needs to engage any further. Though, of course, you could argue that he easily could have just walked out there to check up on him in the sense of, confirming if he is alive or dead. He wasn't open to doing that either, right? But like I said, he himself was a little bit shaken up after that moment he had. He kind of had to separate himself from the group and just kind of go gather himself against that wall, right? Knees against his chest, head in his knees. And it's a great moment as Killua is the one to remind him that, they are a team after all, and they are kind of in this together, in this specific exam together as a group. So, you can't be too selfish either. And of course, Leorio's reaction to that is such a fun reaction, isn't it? So ultimately, it didn't matter that he was knocked out and not able to continue because, yeah, they agreed to a death match. So yeah, technically, that the prisoner, that lady, was spot on, right? And they leaned into that and they used it. And then, of course, the gears start turning in Leorio's mind at that moment, because as a medic, he can just go in and check in on, because as a medic, he can just go in and check up on him, right? And, then this really interesting encounter takes place, the betting aspect of it, using time as the wagers for this. And yeah, you really get to see Leorio shine in this situation, right? I mean, both bets are essentially a win-win situation. So the first bet, if Majitani happens to be unconscious, he gets 10 hours for his team, right? And that's exactly how it played out. But there was an ulterior motive to this as well, him checking up on Majitani, right? Him checking up on him as a medic, because later he reveals that indeed, he's able to easily figure out if someone is faking it. And that was the case, right? He picked up on it, but he kept that to himself. And then, of course, that kind of plays a part in the second bet, another win-win. And of course, if it was the opposite and Majitani was dead, then he secures a point. He secures a match. I mean, ultimately, that's exactly the thing he does, right? He settled Kurapika's match. He settled, or he secured that point for his team. But the second bet is really interesting as well, isn't it? Because the lady, she knows the answer, right? So she's guaranteed to win. But she's really clever about this, isn't she? Because she makes sure to only wager 20 hours rather than everything. Because, of course, that would raise a red flag and essentially give away the answer to Leorio, right? And at that point, she does not know that Leorio already knows that this guy is faking it. He checked up on him and he just knew, right? He said that, he could just tell by looking at the eyes, right? Or studying the eyes. But yeah, ultimately, Leorio came out on top. He made Majitani act, right? He made him act, because if Majitani doesn't, he's about to fall to his death. And the only reason he did that, the only reason Leorio did that is because he knew the guy's faking it. He knew he's not going to let himself fall, right? I firmly believe that. And of course, I loved Majitani's internal monologues. It's always a treat to listen to that voice. It really is. So, that was a fun moment as well. But yeah, I think that should do it for this one, folks. If you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you are interested in timer-based full length or full opacity or perhaps early access to the next few episodes right now, consider checking out the Patreon page and, potentially supporting the channel. If you're interested, the links are in the description and the pinned comment. Also links to social media, things like Twitter and Instagram, if that's your thing. Right then, thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for episode 11. Until then, take it easy.